Hello, welcome back to the channel and welcome to today's video. I am here to go through, I believe, 8 books that I'm unhauling from my collection today. These have been sitting in a little pile on the floor for a little while now because I thought I might be able to collate a couple more to add to the pile. As of yet, that has not happened. It's not transpired, so I'm just going to make do with these books. And to be honest, the majority of them I remember enjoying. They're just not serving me a purpose anymore. So let's get started. The first one here is The House of Birds and Butterflies by Cressida McLaughlin. I think this is the only book that I've read by this author, and I remember it taking me a good few months to get through, but I was really enjoying it. It was just like a cozy kind of general fiction with some romance in there and sort of what I would describe as a new coming of age. So it's an older woman kind of re-establishing her life and starting over, so that's why I sort of describe it as like a re-coming of age. So this one follows Abby Field, who loves Meadowsweet Nature Reserve on the idyllic Suffolk coast where she lives and works. She particularly loves a place called Swallowtail House, which has been empty, I believe, and I think she's always had this goal to kind of own it and love it and do it back up. There then comes a TV show production into the area, and they choose a rival like location to focus on, and she gets swept up into the drama of it all, especially with the arrival of the new bad boy novelist, what's his name, Jack Westcote. So it's kind of like a enemies to lovers romance from what I understand, and there's discourse about nature and wildlife and the whole TV production. It's a really cozy read, but it just took me a long time to read, and this was a good few years ago and I've not picked up any more by this author. So yeah, I'm ready to let this go. I have Winter by Ali Spring, and I had intended to go through and read all of the seasonal books by Ali Smith. Did I say Ali Spring? It's because I had spring in my head. But yeah, this one, I think I gave it like a 3 or something, if I remember correctly. It was just a little bit confusing from what I can remember. There was a lot of interconnected stories set during this time period. I think this particular one was during the Brexit conversations, and it was just a bit confusing to get my head around, and it just wasn't necessarily my niche of interest, I guess you could say. At the back though, it does say it's kind of like a play on thoughts because they've got big personalities and like opposing beliefs. It says, when 4 people, strangers and family, converge on a 15-bedroom house in Cornwall for Christmas, will there be enough room for everyone? But yeah, it just didn't sit with me as impactfully as I thought it would. And although these are absolutely stunning, I think they'd look beautiful together on the shelf, I don't have any intention of not necessarily really, I don't have any immediate intention right now to read the others in this kind of quartet, and I don't really have any overall intention now to read any more Ali Smith, unfortunately. So this one was kind of like a so-so book for me. Next up is Spook Slither's Tale. This is kind of like not a spin-off, but kind of like an additional story within the Spooks Chronicles, the Wardstone Chronicles by Joseph Delaney. I believe this is, so I had a couple of random books and I was mainly doing them by audiobook, and I didn't realise at the time that I actually had this one to read, if I remember correctly. So I just blasted through it on the audio and I was like, oh well, I don't really need this book now. So yeah, I don't need it in my collection, but it is another story of kind of like this demonic being, I guess you could say, who has a bit of an influence within the wilder story of the Spooks universe. The Wardstone Chronicles is about a young boy called Tom who becomes a spook's apprentice, and he's basically tasked to learn the trade of fighting the darkness of his village. So witches, anything like to do with the fiend, which is like the devil entity, and any kind of demonic thing that gets thrown their way in the attempt to keep the village safe, right? But they do travel from town to town and across the world, I think, in some instances, to kind of defeat the dark. And it is a really fun series. I really need to continue finish off this series because I feel like I've been reading it for forever, but I've lost a bit of wind at the moment in my sales. But as I say, I've been mainly doing them by audiobook, so I'll just need to get some more credits and listen away. This next one, I'm still convinced that I did a whole video review for this, like an actual sit down video review, but I looked back like around the time when I was like, hold on a minute, I swear this video was supposed to go up years ago, this being, and it wasn't there, and it wasn't on my camera that I was using at the time, and I remember sitting there filming it, but where is it? Anyway, this is Look Who's Back by Timur Vermes, and it's kind of like an alternate history of what if Hitler didn't die and he kind of awoke in the modern world and had his own reality TV show. It is very bizarre and far out. I can't remember exactly what I rated it. I'm pretty sure I enjoyed it. It was a strange kind of surreal story. And it did make you question some things. It was entertaining, it was funny. I'm pretty sure there's a movie on this that I still haven't watched. And it was just crazy. It was absolutely crazy. So yeah, it's a satire of modern media bloated society seen through the eyes of the Führer himself. I remember enjoying this from what I can recall. And yeah, it was absolutely crazy. But I no longer need it on my shelf. We have a Heather Fawcett book. Took me a while to click that this was the same author that did the Emily Wilde books, or Emily Wilde's author did this book. This is Ember and the Ice Dragons, and again, this is something that I liked. It was so. I think I might have gave it like a 3 stars, but it's not something that sat with me like for the long run, you know. Ember is a dragon living in human form with her adoptive father. It was what needed to be done to save her life. She has this issue where she keeps like bursting into flames, and her invisible wings are becoming a bit of a problem, so she gets shipped off to stay with her aunt, who's on a research expedition in Antarctica, with the hopes of her kind of finding herself, learning a bit more about her being, and exploring a different sense of the world for her, you know. However, a little bit of discourse arrives when she is thrust in a situation, being a dragon, where dragon hunters are prevalent, and they're kind of onto her. This was really engaging. It was quite fun. I enjoyed the whole idea of like a dragon in disguise, and the protagonist and the friends that she meets along the way. Why did I say that saying? I hate that saying. It really makes me chuckle. I don't hate it. It just makes me laugh. The friends she makes along the way. My hair matches it. Oh, that is beautiful. But yeah, this is just another one that hasn't super, like, the details hasn't completely stayed with me, and I don't find myself like pulling it out of my stack to recommend to people, you know. Right, the next book that I'm unhauling is Tinder by Sally Gardner, and this follows Otto, who defies death when he's wounded in battle. He meets a character called Sapphire, who is brave of heart and pure of spirit, and he learns all the secrets and powers of the wolf and the knowledge of the tinderbox. This is very whimsy, very fairy tale fantasy based. Another one like the Ember and the Ice Dragons. It's a middle grade kind of book, so another children's story, and so I believe are the last 2 actually that I've got to show you. But yeah, honestly, I remember nothing from my time reading this. It also is one of those books that reminds me every time I pick it up, or I see this other book that I'm thinking of, which now I can't remember the title off the top of my head. I think it's a different one, and I query whether I've read it or not, but I get them too confused. And that means nothing to anyone watching this right now, because I can't think of the book that I'm confusing it with. And yeah, that was a pointless sentence. Anyway, this does have really gorgeous, let me just pop my coffee down. This has really gorgeous illustrations dotted throughout, just like speckled throughout. Oh, hold on, let me show you this really cool food spread. It's beautiful. But as I say, I really don't remember anything about this, which doesn't bode well. I'm pretty sure I enjoyed it at the time. I know for a fact that I absolutely loved is Catherine Rundle's The Explorer, and I'm pretty sure I did a full review for this one. I remember actually filming it and posting it on the channel. But with everything, of course, they're on my story graph and Goodreads if you did want to have a little nose to see what I thought a bit more in depth. So this one is kind of like a Lord of the Flies vibes, but not violent really. We have a group of 4 children who get kind of abandoned or washed up, but I think they travel by plane, so they get plane crashed in a jungle, and they have to figure out first of all like how to survive, and then find out a way of how to connect back to the outside world, their parents, their family, and figure out how to get back home, right? We've got some really interesting characters in here. There was one that I really did not like, really irritated me. I can't remember if she felt redeemable in my eyes by the end of it or not, but she, oh my god, she was written so well for me to really dislike her, like as a child as well. Like I was like, oh my god, this sounds awful, but you are punchable. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, it says when their plane crashes, 4 children are stranded in the Amazon jungle. Now they have to survive alone, but was someone there before them? So yeah, I guess it has that mystery element too. But this was a solid read. I'm pretty sure I gave it like a 4 stars or so. And it was a Costa Book Awards winner of 2017, which is interesting because I thought that award was only for like adult books. I don't know why I thought that. I've yet to read another Catherine Rundle. I do have her books on my radar, but yeah, this one I've had for many a years now. I don't need to keep it. And the last book is one that I recall very little from, and I don't know, I just kind of wanted to keep this one, but I've decided to let it go. It's The Gigantic Beard That Was Evil by Stephen Collins, and it's literally about this man who has this beard that keeps growing and growing and growing, and it whispers awful things and makes him do evil things. Yeah, it's crazy. It's illustrated as well. It says, the job of the skin is to keep things in. On the button down inside of here, all is well, by which we mean orderly, neat, contained, and moreover, beardless. Or at least it is until one famous day when Dave, bald but for a single hair, finds himself assailed by a terrifying, unstoppable monster. Where did it come from? How should the islanders deal with it? And what, most importantly, are they going to do with Dave? It just sounds so silly, and it is silly. Most of it is like illustrations with some, like, it's literally a comic, so you've got some that's not a very good example, a couple of texts like written within, you know, a comic, right? I remember it being fun and silly, really quick read, but again, it's not something that stayed with me. I don't really think of it often. It's just an unusual, like, it catches my eye every now and then, like the title, and I'm like, huh, yeah, that's strange, and then I move on with my day. Do you know what I mean? So someone else might find a home to give this some love to. I don't know if that sentence made very much sense. It's kind of in the name, and it didn't really work. Anyway, those are all the books. I daren't lift all of them because I do have my coffee like placed precariously in front of me. Let me hold that as well. These are all the books, some of the books, the rest are on the floor, that I've decided to give up from my collection. I'll most likely be popping these on Vinted, which is where there is magic if you're interested in getting them from there. But yeah, for now, I will thank you very much for checking in today's video, and I'll catch you in another video soon. Bye.